Hey, it's a Wednesday night, and I got a new GoPro because my old one, and by old I mean it was like a month old. I had so many problems with it in the past couple of weeks trying to make more videos that I ended up sending it back. Hopefully this one will work better. But tonight I'm making nothing fancy. I got the kids to myself, and I'm cooking for them. And I'm making something I've made about a bajillion times in my life, and that is pasta and tomato sauce, which sounds really boring, but one reason why I thought it might be worth doing this video is that I remember, when I was younger, when I was in college, that I basically lived on like spaghetti or penne and jars of sauce like ragu or whatever. And when I finally graduated and got out into the world and started cooking, one of the first things that I learned to make that really illuminated for me how cooking for yourself could be easy and rewarding was learning to make my own tomato sauce, which is infinitely better than anything you could buy at the store in a jar. And while we're at it, also learning to make pasta and sauce it correctly, because when I was younger and I would make a jar of sauce or whatever, obviously I'm just boiling some water here, but when I was younger and I would make pasta from a jarred sauce, I would just throw the naked pasta onto a plate or in a bowl, and just glump, is that a word? Just, gloop. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Gloop some pasta sauce all over the top of it. And that leaves your pasta completely like unconnected to the sauce. The trick with most pasta dishes is that you make a sauce and then you cook your pasta up to, the point of being a little bit less done than you would like. And then you finish the pasta in the sauce, and it makes all the difference in the world. And it becomes one of those things that you can just pull out of your back pocket anytime you're hungry. You can make dinner in, 30 minutes, I would say. And there are other, pasta dishes besides like marinara that you can make even faster. But, tomato sauce is just the thing that I always return to, and the kids love it. And so we're going to do it for the kids. I need to get a skillet onto the stovetop. We're gonna put the skillet over a very, very low heat. Let it warm up slowly because we're gonna throw our garlic in there. And garlic cooks really quickly in a hot pan, and really we're trying to like infuse the oil with the garlic, and just get it to turn kind of golden. And I'm covering the entire bottom of this pan with olive oil. We're gonna use a lot of olive oil for this sauce. I didn't manage to get this clean yet. Obviously, tomato sauce has so few ingredients in it that the ingredients really, really matter, and the ingredient that matters the most is the tomatoes. You can get a can of Hunt's whole peeled tomatoes and make a tomato sauce that's better than, a jar of ragu or whatever, but you get yourself a nice can of tomatoes, and it doesn't have to be, Italian DOP San Marzano tomatoes. It can be, there are plenty of other good tomatoes in the world. But a good can of tomatoes makes something really special, especially when you cook it for a while and it gets nice and caramelized. So I'm going to grab some tomatoes. I do have the San Marzano tomatoes on hand. They seem expensive, but when you realize that, like, what a cheap meal you can make out of it, $3 worth of pasta and a can of sauce. This is actually going to make more sauce than I'm going to use tonight. I'm going to pull out maybe a third or even a half of it, depending on how much pasta I've got. I got to check on that. So it really is not so expensive in the scheme of things. A nice, well, not a nice, but just a wooden cooking spoon is the weapon of choice. Something to set it on because it's gonna get covered in tomatoes. And the only other thing we're gonna use here, so garlic, tomatoes, and olive oil, and a little bit of red pepper flakes, which I'm close to being out of. Just to get a little chili heat and flavor in there. Like I said, I'm making it for kids, so I'm not really gonna go to town on the heat. But you could if you were feeling that vibe. And I just thinly sliced the garlic, maybe not as thinly as I could. I always think about that Goodfellas scene where they're like shaving the garlic with a razor blade. For some reason, I came to believe that that was very, very important, but it's not actually all that important. Who's coming up the steps? Hey, fellas. Hi, y'all. Y'all want pasta for dinner? Yeah. Does that sound good, Abe? Pasta for dinner? Yeah, all right. Let's see what... So I don't want to do spaghetti because that's just way too messy with the baby. I'm going to go with this. It's like 2/3 of a pound. So I'll probably only use half the sauce we make to dress this. All right, let's please not sing the Animaniacs theme song, okay? Thank you. Starting to sizzle now. You're in no hurry with the garlic, although you might be in a hurry for dinner if you're making pasta and tomato sauce. This is just not the part to speed up. I'm gonna put a apron on because I'm gonna get tomato sauce on my shirt. Yeah, I had just like a nightmare of problems with my GoPro. I made so many videos that just ended up like glitching out, so I got really frustrated. Hopefully this will rectify the situation and I can get back to doing it. There are a couple of approaches you could take to turning the whole peeled tomatoes into your sauce. A chunkier sauce, like the chunkiest sauce you can make, you just dump the whole thing in there and then over time break it up with a spoon, which is also just kind of like lazy easy and you don't have to get your hands involved or anything. The semi-chunky version would be to pull out each tomato and squeeze it as you go in. And that'll leave some texture. And then, you know, you could like blitz it in a food processor. That's more of like if you're making, you know, pizza sauce or something. I don't really like completely smooth tomato sauce. To me, that just, you know, takes away some of the enjoyment of the texture of tomato sauce. And I guess the other ingredient that I like to put in my tomato sauce, you know, at the end, some basil, but it's November and our basil plants died and I don't have any in the fridge. And generally, since I started having a basil plant at home, I don't really buy basil once the basil's gone. This is not like quite the golden that I'm looking for yet. I don't know why I'm doing this. I like to make a little deep fry vat. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna opt for the squeezing them on the way in option here. And it's gonna splatter a little bit with the hot oil, but I don't have it that hot, so it's not gonna... If it's really hot, then you might burn yourself when you do this. So be careful. A good can of tomatoes will... The tomatoes will be really easy to crush because they will have been super ripe when they went in the can, falling apart practically.
Shit. I think it just turned. I think it just turned pastel.
Then the rest of the contents of the can, and then I like to, as I'm washing my hand here, add a little bit of water to the can just to get the rest of it out, and we will end up boiling that off anyway. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I do. And when I say this is something that I've made a million times, I mean not literally a million, but probably, you know, a couple of hundred. This is something that like got me through my 20s. And then once kids come along, they just want tomato sauce all the time. Let's see. So we're just gonna bring that to a simmer, and I'm hoping to get this boiling. In the meantime, I want a salad. I don't know if anyone else here is gonna eat salad, but I need something. And I'm gonna toast some pecans to go with it. Yeah, did I turn that on? And I think the only saladable item in my refrigerator right now is I have some fennel. Well, I have some cabbage, but I don't really think of that as an accompaniment to pasta. Hee hee hee, hee hee hee, hee hee hee. I'm just gonna break these off. Fennel salad's one of my favorite salads. You can also add celery to the mix if you don't have enough fennel, but the stalks are a little too fibrous to eat raw. You could use the fronds, but the fronds are kind of old looking. These took a long plane trip from California. I know not literally a plane, but you know what I'm saying. I'm in Oklahoma, and who knows how old this stuff is at this point. So it's not exactly farmer's market fresh.
Oh my God, it's ranch. They don't have
And I could slice this thinly and carefully, or I could just use my mandolin, which is what I'm gonna do. Cut out the root, or the stem. I don't know, root I think is what I'd call it. Fennel salad makes me think of our time in California. It was a very common thing for us to eat at home, but also out. I don't know if it was just like the era that we lived in Berkeley, but it just seemed like there was a lot of fennel salad happening. But ideally you want to get it like as thin as humanly possible. And that's why the mandolin is really nice here. And I don't mess around when it comes to the mandolin. I always use the safety like hand guard thing. I actually, when we were living in Berkeley, I had a neighbor that cut her finger extremely badly on her mandolin, and I remember her coming to my house for first aid, and I thought to myself, I will never goof around with the mandolin, and I have not thus far. I have cut myself on many other things though. You can hear the sauce bubbling now.
The Mindy and the Brain thing was so weird.
Yeah, it was like a remix thing. Here, maybe I should. Yeah, you see, this is very like papery fine cut. I guess I'm gonna... Abe, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's his cooking section. You do have to come over here and stir the thing every once in a while just to make sure it doesn't stick to the pot. Cool, pecans. I mean, walnuts are also good, and if I don't have pecans, sorry it's so dark in here, my lights need to be charged. If I don't have pecans, then I will go for walnuts. I wish that I had made some salt brined almonds, because that would be awesome. Oh, here's pecans. Cool. I'm gonna give those like 8 minutes at 375. I'll check on him. It's been like 6 minutes. The timer's about to go off on the pecans. And the only thing I really did besides a little bit of cleaning was I forgot to add some lemon juice to the fennel just so it wouldn't discolor. And that's also gonna be the acid in the salad. I just squeezed half a lemon into the fennel, and I might go ahead and add some salt actually. I feel like if you salt the fennel salad early, that it breaks down a little bit, kind of like kale salad. You know, if you've ever made a kale salad and it's kind of a little too fibrous and chewy at first, but if you let it sit, it gets softer, or at least like less toothsome, I guess, or hard to eat. This will hopefully turn it into that nicer salad to eat. Let's check on the pecans. That needs like a minute. And you can see that like little vent holes in the sauce have opened up, like little, almost like when you cook a pancake and you know that it's about time to flip. That's getting low on water, and the tomatoes now starting to get down to just like oil and the solids of the tomato, and it's just probably gonna need like 10 more minutes. Abe's gonna rock the piano. Play Jingle Bells, Abe. Jingle bells. Nice. I might go ahead and, how long is this? Is this like 12 minutes? Theo's gonna show off his piano skills. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and put the pasta on. Good job. All right, but hey, could you chill while I finish making the video though? I'm gonna go ahead and season the tomato sauce. Play one more thing, okay? I think Abe is assisting. Oh, I'm low on salt for the pasta water. I'm just gonna use this coarse salt, which is not my usual. It needs to be nice and salty. You know, they say salty as the sea. The sea is really, really salty, and that's probably a bit much, but it should be quite salty. Like, that's not quite enough. Tasting the pasta water is a good idea. Cool. Put this back on just to bring it up to temperature and set my timer for like 9 minutes. It says al dente and 10 on the package, but I like to check it a little bit beforehand because, you know, you can always cook it a little bit more, but if you overcook it, you lost your chance. All right, Maestro, that sounds really good. Can we chill on that now, please, Theo? Well. Let's check on those pecans. Hopefully they haven't gone past the point. No, that's about right where I like them, actually. I'm gonna let them cool on the cutting board and then chop them into bits. Let's go ahead and dress the salad. We'll get the cheeses out, because there will be cheese in the pasta, of course. Got some parm. For the salad, I'm gonna use a little pecorino. And I'm gonna shave it. Or no, I'll just use this. Hey, seriously, could you please? Please, honey? Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just that it really takes over the whole video. Okay, you play the songs. So a little bit of olive oil. That's the parm. The cheese here isn't really for like texture or anything. It's just to add the savory element of a hard cheese. If you use the right amount, You can turn Fennel into like Doritos, basically. Just nature's MSG.
Oh my gosh, Dave. What in the world is going on in here? I need all these ingredients. Looks like we need some butter. We're gonna have to try it then.
This is definitely one of those salads that you can also, like, if there's leftovers, you can eat them the next day. It's not like a lettuce salad. Needs more lemon juice and more salt,
Is this what?
and maybe a little more cheese.
No, it's taste. No, I'm gonna make some muffin. Make some square muffins. Get out all the muffins and muffin ingredients. I'm making fake diamond seeds.
A little bit more of everything, I guess.
How's that sound, Abe? Good? Yeah, baked and Nazis. Sounds
So when I make pasta, I don't use a colander unless I'm trying to like par cook pasta and then you know do something else with it, like if it's gonna be baked or something. I just use a spider and transfer it directly from the water. Yeah, that's what this little device is called.
That was a stove on legs. That's a spider.
A stove on legs? I think that's like a potbelly stove.
It's called a spider.
A spider, maybe.
It is.
Could be. This is looking close to done.
This is a hot digs.
And of course, the downside to tomato sauce is you end up just like
Hot digs.
spraying tomato all over your kitchen, and it can be a little hard to clean up after, but it's a okay trade-off for deliciousness. I'm gonna use a little bit of the flaky Malden salt here.
There you go. Onion.
The main thing is to just not be too austere about it. Give it a lot of flavor. Why not? We're all gonna die someday. And I mean, I don't know if fennel salad's gonna kill you just because you put extra pecorino and salt in it.
This is called butter bagista. Right?
Mm.
It's called butter bagista.
Butter bagista? That sounds good.
Oh, if you might want to try it. Because it really tastes good.
I will definitely try it.
Breakfast meat.
Breakfast meat.
Has all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
It's a good sandwich. Breakfast margaritas. And we got breakfast margaritas. Which is really what it is.
Hmm. Really good. All right, that's good. We should finish this sauce and transfer out some of the sauce before the pasta comes over. I'm gonna just turn it up briefly. Try to... There's a certain flavor, like when the sauce really cooks down, that is nice. That especially as it gets colder out, I start wanting that flavor instead of the fresher tomato sauce.
This takes a while to cook.
And sometimes if the sauce is really acidic, like if the tomatoes in the can are just really high acid, and it's just a little too much, I might, instead of finishing it with olive oil, add a little butter. But these are actually like nice, delicate, sweet tomatoes. It's not overpoweringly acidic. So I'm just gonna finish with olive oil. Needs a little bit more salt. And where did my olive oil go? Ah.
Yeah, you do? Okay.
All right. Get a little container to put the extra in. Oh, wow. Now that's a sandwich. That's crazy. What was that thing we ate in Porto? That crazy sandwich we ate. It was like 15 ingredients.
Sides.
All right. I can't remember the name of it.
A fresh orange.
All right, well, we're about to pull the pasta out. But I will take a bite of the orange. Mmm, delicious.
Can I taste it?
Yeah, taste it. Oh, you want to taste the pasta? You want to taste the rainbow? I mean, it's just naked pasta. I'm just tasting it to see if it's cooked. Here, I'll put it right there because it's hot. So it's more al dente than... Honey, can you give him a piece of that, like chop it off or whatever? It's more al dente than I would like, but we're gonna finish it in the sauce. And the advantage to that is like, for so many reasons. One is that the sauce will end up being sucked up into the pasta. So it's, you know, tomato sauce flavored pasta. Instead of just water going in there, you get the sauce itself. But also, as the pasta boils in the water, it leaves behind a bunch of starch that we will dip into. And it's going to give the sauce, so just a little water there, it's going to give the sauce a sort of, you know, velvety finish. You know, sauce, it ought to cling to things. It, like when you add cornstarch to something, the way that it turns goopy.
I'm gonna cut through this. Got heat strips.
Heat strips.
Heat strips are for cakes and pies. This is a sugar cake.
I've got the heat up pretty high. When you agitate pasta, you release more of the starch on the surface of it and get more of that saucy effect that we're looking for. And you make a mess sometimes. Or like, always. It's probably more accurate. Yeah, what are you trying to do? No, that's we're saving that for later. Don't put your finger in it. You're gonna infect it. Inoculate it with cooties. Hey, seriously, man, can you chill on that for a minute? Bon Appetit test kitchen, it's not. So I probably could have pulled a little bit more of the tomato sauce out, but the kids like it saucy. You can see it's like glossy, and that's from the starch. I don't have a fork, I guess. Turn the heat off for a sec. Almost done, baby. Almost done. I wasn't eating, I was just tasting as part of cooking. I know that's hard to... Hold on, sweetie. I know.
I'm really annoying about that.
I'm really annoying about that? What do you mean? Who, me?
Such a grumpy Gus and you won't let us taste.
I let you taste things all the time. I just let you taste the pasta a second ago. It's a real positive mood night at the Ashley house. I'm gonna go ahead and do some cheese before we even get to the plates and just have it be part of the dish itself. Then we can just top it. As well as some olive oil. There we go. That looks right. Made a valiant attempt at not making a mess, but it's really not possible. Watch out, baby. Try to give the baby a little less of the sauciness because he's so freaking messy. Cool. And then just a little cheesy finish. And I'm not gonna tease these kids by taking a bite because they are hungry. But that's it. That's just the weeknight easy meal. So try it sometime. Thanks.